blood of the innocent. Carpet Day.
I just want you to stop saying odd shit.
Party's over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
I am your mother. Everyone you love around you dies.
This is a way of life.
Is it dead? Prime time, bitch.
I worship Satan. Satan is good. Satan is our pal.
I can't believe that just fucking happened. Yeah, boy.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast Downstairs. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're just three weirdos locked in a basement. We just love horror movies. We got a lot to say about that. But first, we're going to go around the table and introduce ourselves. A house, a tragedy, and a movie franchise. The story is one of the most famous haunted houses of all time. Murder, demons, priest, exorcism, and of course, con men. The devil is at the door, the flies are in the house, demons are in the basement. It's time to get out. And I'm Glenn.
There's so much rhythm and rhyme. I was also caught up.
Yeah, I was like, where does it start?
Bah.
I don't have an introduction because honestly,
Me too.
that's my lack of apathy for what we're gonna get into.
You don't have an introduction? Get out.
I was gonna say it's actually pretty haunted not to have an introduction of this level. But
I heard it's actually way cooler.
all I know is I just really want to wear some pajama pants and just pajama pants because I'm Claudio.
So I'll just be petty and savage and say that, I'm The Shining. No, wait, I'm sorry. I'm Poltergeist. Wait, no, my bad.
Try it again.
No, I'm The Exorcist.
Warmer?
Sorry,
Oh,
one more time.
colder.
You got it.
Hi, I'm Joe, and we're going to talk about Amityville Horror today.
All right, so this one's going to be kind of a weird one because we're of course diving into our SLASHICS series of the original versus the early 2000s remake. And we were blessed yet again by the gods of slop in movies to be blessed with another Platinum Dunes feature by fucking Michael Bay.
I couldn't remember if this was awesome.
Oh,
Sure is.
we're doing it again. Run it back. It's the triple sequel, baby.
I watched these back to back almost a year ago before I knew we were going to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fresh in my mind, but I wasn't necessarily looking out for all those little details
Yeah.
that we've since been unearthing as part of
Yep.
the grander motifs.
Dude, I
of
clicked
these,
play on the remake
of these
and
movies,
I went,
these Platinum Dunes movies.
is this? And then it went Platinum Dunes, and I went, yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yup.
This is our, second Platinum Dunes feature? Because I think the other ones are smaller named ones, or is this our, third or fourth?
I was gonna say, I thought it was our
I feel
fifth
like
or
we've
something.
talked
Yeah.
about Platinum Dunes quite a bit.
Because I only really remember Nightmare being, actual Platinum
Oh, it's
Dunes.
Nightmare, it's Chainsaw, it's, shoot, hold on.
Well, it's Chainsaw the beginning and the remake, so it's both fun. Friday the 13th was another one. I
thought it was all but Halloween.
Oh, man.
And I don't think it was Bloody Valentine, right?
correct.
So not Halloween, not Bloody Valentine, but it was Friday the 13th. It was
Nightmare.
Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
It was Nightmare.
All right. I'm just an idiot.
No, not at all. I was
I'm kidding.
making sure
Okay.
I wasn't going insane. I
It
was
was
like, no.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadow.
Stop.
But yes,
Don't you do that.
it is
Secret of the Ooze, man.
It has
Damn.
been sprinkled throughout the SLASHICS.
So we're just beating this old horse to death. Now, speaking of being beaten to death,
mood.
Nice. No. Sweet, smooth segue. That's
it's terrible.
no.
All right,
That's what that
I'm gonna
is.
give this a shot.
You can't keep getting away.
I can't keep getting away with this. Okay, so at the top of the episode, I am going to take a slight detour at first. All right, I'm gonna hop on my soapbox for a moment, and you're just gonna have to be okay with it. I'm gonna put on my true crime hat.
It is a podcast after all.
All of my years of listening to true crime podcasts come through. I feel like I need to be down here and talking like this just to tell the
ASMR.
story. But I'm not going to do that. All right. Truth of the matter is, the story started with a horrible family annihilation. On November 19, in 1974, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family in their home. DeFeo was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 6 terms of life in prison. 6 terms of 25 to life, I should say. He at first suggested that a mafia hitman committed the murder.
He later recanted that story and then told police that he committed the act himself. His attorney then mounted an insanity case, stating that demons told him to do it. After the conviction, his story changed quite frequently, and judges deemed anything that he stated to be fully fabrication. I want to get this out of the way now before we dive into the movie itself. I want to talk about context. I want to talk about form. So, going back in time, the Lutz family moved into the home roughly a year after the murder took place. The Lutzes moved out 28 days later after experiencing what they called supernatural paranormal phenomenon. Should be stated, I am a believer in supernatural and paranormal phenomenon. I believe in ghosts. I believe in that sort of thing. But I can look at things with a skeptical eye.
If you think about it, we actually know very little about what's going on. Sorry, just a little bit. I think you should leave to lighten the mood.
Do any of these fuckers? All right, so days later after the family left, a newspaper report would bolster the story, while another one stated that they talked to the Lutz family and they said that they left due to heating issues that they couldn't afford to repair in the house. But I digress. George Lutz was contacted by DeFeo's attorney to combine both accounts to create an insanity play. They were even promised a book deal and a way to make money off of the story. They rejected the deal with DeFeo's attorney, stole the idea of doing a book, and went to a different author in order to make more money. Many of George Lutz's claims have since been debunked. The children of the Lutz family have stated the portrayal of the story in the novel and in the film is untrue. George Lutz, in deposition, has stated that much of his accounts in the house were untrue. Things did not happen. Now, here we're going to arrive at the so-called paranormal experts that are involved in the Amityville case, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Demonologist experts brought in to consult on the film. While many consider them to be the real deal, admittedly, including me up until I dove into the facts about them face first, these two were purely and unequivocally grifters. From leading witnesses to scamming families, the Warrens shoehorned their way into family situations that they would then deem to be demonic in nature, exploit them, get hired, and then try to drive away the evil forces. In my opinion, they fully believed that they were the real deal. But the fact speaks for themselves. Look into a couple of their cases, do your own research. Shit gets messy really quick. Anyway, the Warrens, sniffing out a way to grab an extra buck, headed to New York to hop on the Amityville Horror train. They were the voices that lent credibility to the fabricated story from DeFeo and his lawyer, even lending themselves to become consultants in the sequel of Amityville. All this to say, the film adaptation of the Amityville Horror, as well as the numerous sequels that once lived in a world of superstition and urban legend to many people, even people that believed it to be true at one time. But the fact of the matter is that it truly comes down to a story of a heinous family annihilation, a few weird experiences, and the greed of people looking to make money out of the unspeakable act of another man. I will be looking at these movies, as I'm sure you guys will too, as full works of fiction. And I will judge them the same way that we would look at any other movie that we would look at with an outlandish story portrayed in the film. Just wanted to hit that up front because I feel like that's a very ingrained part of this story, is that semi-belief that this was real, this happened. It even flashes on the screen in the beginning of the remake.
It's so
based on a
explicitly
true
part
story.
of the promotion, yeah. Uh-huh. No, I appreciate you saying that as well, because I am not nearly as well versed in the, the real life documentarianism of like the records of like the actual history of it, nor am I as caught up on like all like the sort of greater fictional franchise versions of the story.
Yes.
Other than the original and the remake of Amityville Horror. Boom, just the original and the remake, that's it. None of the sequels, none of the other iterations in the greater Conjuring universe, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But knowing like the real, just linear facts in a true crime hat wearing manner, just real quick, is something that I find super helpful because I'm always about context, and especially like when it comes to any degree of like historical fiction, it's like, all right, everything's on the table as long as we're clear about boundaries, right?
Yes.
So as long as I know what's really, really real, I'm like, cool, whatever. Let's just like dive in, because I'm sure there's a million real life things inspiring or attached to a million crappy or great works of fiction. This,
and
that, the
fun
other,
stories are just fun stories sometimes. Like it's cool to tell crazy stories,
But it's one thing.
trying to sell it as fact
And that's
could be damaging to other human beings.
it was part of the sales pitch specifically. Whereas, in any other like randomly stick your finger on a spin the globe and boom, like in terms of like stories, maybe they tried to like work that into the promotions, maybe not, whatever. But like for Amityville, it was like always baked into.
That
like,
was the shtick.
Right.
This is real life now.
So I feel like it deserves that extra little bit of
Yes.
scrutiny and attention.
And the way that they had set up the movie, directed the movie, written the movie, they based it off of the novelization from Jay Anson, who wrote the book with George Lutz, who gave his account, George and Kathy Lutz. I'm not going to just hammer on George. I'm going to go after Kathy here, too. Both of them sat down with Jay Anson and wrote this book about their experiences within the house. To which later, like I said, George has since recanted stuff saying things aren't true. Anson has come out and said a lot of this was fabricated. We just drank a lot of wine one night and wrote this story. So it's like, do not try. I'm basically saying don't let this movie like piss on your shoes and tell you it's raining. This is not true. This is, no matter how much the Warren family wanted you to believe that this was a real demonic thing, look at this as just fiction. Please. Because I feel like you're going to look at the movie through a completely different lens.
And not for nothing.
You might actually enjoy it more.
I think separation from any controversy in this case kind of helps, because as we'll get into, neither of these movies are especially like super praiseworthy. It seems as though like they will be remembered by history mostly for their fucking around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And for Margot Kidder and Melissa George. But other than those elements, I wanted
Fuck James
to
Berlin, I guess.
also tie in like my snarky, disrespectful intro of like misidentification with other movies, but like tied into what you're saying in terms of like what was going on in the culture at the time. This I think is like very much the poor man's The Shining, right? I love Kubrick's version of the story of the novel, whatever. And like this just has so many elements in common with that. But even though the movie, I know, doesn't come out for like another year or two, the book, the novel, like Stephen King's novel, was an immediate hit 2 years before this original Amityville Horror in '79 comes out. So like those elements are out in the world.
You can't help but feel like, they want to hit the lightning in the bottle next.
Yeah.
And so like,
So that came out, what year was The Shining?
so the book is 77.
77?
Same
Okay.
year as-
So I will put it out there that there is a chance, because the DeFeo family murder happened in 1974. So there is a good chance, and it was in New York.
Okay.
So there's a good chance that Stephen King kind of saw that.
Sure.
And may have had
Okay.
it in the back of his head a little bit.
Cross-pollination, sir.
Yeah.
But like also...
But it was all an original thing that he kind of came up with being in the Stanley Hotel.
Well, and also not for nothing, folks, Lizzie Borden. So
Yeah.
like it's not as if like any of this is the ground floor of
If
any
you look
horrible
far back
tragedy.
enough,
Yeah.
This was also, we were living in, at this time that this movie came out, when the book came out, because the book came out and then the movie came very quickly after. We were living in a post-Exorcist world.
I mentioned that earlier
Yeah,
as well. And this is a different type of story, but there's...
It's the selling of the realness of demons and
It is
and
playing
the
with those
power of
elements
God
very-
and heaven
yeah.
and hell in real life, and how it plays with us as humans. It's like, well, that was a story. Maybe have been based on some accounts, but not explicitly going, this is the real story of what happened.
And funny enough, like when they actually do that in the beginning of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like we kind of know that that's not
It's all
really the
tongue-in-cheek.
case.
Like,
Yeah, we're just kind of along for the
that's
ride.
the bit
Yes,
of it.
they are aware of what they're doing.
But I feel like it's clear boundaries, whereas this is
It's, like,
specifically
in your
muddy
face.
boundaries.
Yes. I was going to say, even going as far as like Jaws. Jaws is very much based on something that had happened, but they blew it way out of
yeah.
proportion and wrote a story out of it, not saying that this
Wasn't
is
trying
an
to-
account
yeah.
of one-to-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like this is using real names.
Weirdly enough,
with-
that was also in Amity.
Locations.
real
Not
names.
Amityville, but it was Amity.
You're right.
Bam.
Bam.
Bamity.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Bamity horror. It almost like, I know we talked about this briefly, but it almost feels, and I'm glad you brought like it's going to be what it's going to be remembered for now. But like when you think of like original horror and things like back in the day, like this was like, you know, the terrifying shit. Where like
this was the fucking tits when it came
the
out.
house
and
was a
remained
character.
So. I remember being a kid in the '90s, being like, "Oh yeah, do you know about him?" Like, you know,
It's just, it was a source of urban legend at that point because again,
Absolutely.
there was that blurred line between reality and the movie.
When you're going down the basement and you creak on you're always thinking back to something like, you know, oh my god, like, you know, was that me? Was that whatever? Like
at that time, like pre-wide internet, like internet was a thing, but like I didn't have the internet until like the 2000s. Whereas, you know, 90s, like, you know, if I didn't have like an Encarta or like an encyclopedia or like, you know, older siblings, like you kind of like were kind of left to your devices about like getting certain information from video rental stores.
Yeah, or a story from story that somebody's retelling the plot of something that happened, to something that happened, to something that happened.
This guy who knew this guy who knew this guy who's this guy's cousin.
Yeah. And it's that horrible game of telephone from 1974 down the lane. So it's very important that you kind of look at it through this lens before delving into this movie and looking at it for what it actually is, which is a money-making machine is what this movie was. When this movie dropped, the amount of money that this movie fucking made, it was so convincing and so big that fucking James Brolin had a hard time getting a job after this because people thought he was actually crazy.
With a budget of $4.7 million, it made 86.
Damn.
Yeah.
Again, like setting the trend, I think, for horror as being like, okay, you can laugh at us, but like you'll come to us when you need an easy buck, kind of a deal.
It's the escape, but also it's one of those. It's, you know, not to say this movie's multifaceted because I don't want to give it as much credit as like I'm going to eventually for what it was in the time.
Yeah.
But like it was, you know, haunted house. It was religious horror. It was like all these, like, you know, it was psychological because they're losing their minds. All of these things, and it's cool.
It's also erosion of the nuclear family stuff that's happening.
Yeah,
in the 70s,
absolutely.
right? Like
Blended families as well, so they're introducing like a new concept into like the cultural zeitgeist of like, oh yes, there's
dark Brady Bunch.
yeah, families that had families that are blended now, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it almost reads as like kind of it being like the cause of being demonic is because it was a blended family. I don't know. I might be reading into it too much. I don't know.
You
but I
probably
have the
read more than they
podcast,
did.
not you.
No, it's funny. It's funny you say that. There's, if not causality, at least maybe correlation. Because I was gonna say, like, I brought up The Shining and Poltergeist, right? And I think like those come out like this is 79. The Shining is what 80, 81, and then Poltergeist is 82, right? But boom, 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 ba, 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 like one after the other, and
That's
like
hilarious,
not
yeah.
for nothing, Shining and Poltergeist still held in like very high esteem, right? They're great, you know, whatever. Respected movies. They feel like market corrections of this movie.
But I feel like the urban legend thing kind of sells a little harder for this movie as well as it did for Poltergeist. Like
yeah.
The
Shining
real
is
life
less.
events kind of tying into like
Sure,
what
sure.
made it what it is.
For
where
sure.
It's like, oh, the actress, she's dead. And,
Oh, yeah,
there were
the-
real
the-
skeletons.
The haunted set, all the
it's like, so I kind of feel like that played into it a little
Which
bit.
is also
Excuse
an
me.
Exorcist thing.
Which is also an Exorcist thing, which is like some of the shit that they were playing with on Exorcist. In my belief, there's a good possibility that they may have gotten a little too close to something, and some shit started happening. Quite
Right.
possibly.
In 3 out of 4 of those like classics, though, we have like a portrayal of a family, including an aggressive, axe-wielding father and a small child with an imaginary friend, terrorized by the phantoms and demons of a large estate riddled by hostile and disturbing visions that are vaguely tied to the atrocities committed against the land's indigenous peoples. Like that is in like most of these. Like so, it's just very hard. I
Yes.
feel like to not like compare and contrast.
Oh,
or
for
whatever.
sure.
for sure.
And it's like, credit where credit's due. Those movies wouldn't have existed without this story.
And that's kind of where I'm trying to like so it does have like such a baked-in sort of prominence
For sure.
in the horror like realm,
Yeah.
despite now in the last whatever
It
couple.
wasn't the first to do the
decades.
haunted house story, but it was the
Absolutely
first to do
not.
the haunted house story the way that they did it.
and
Yeah.
it could kind of blow up at sort of the time in which this was having a wave of popularity or whatever. But it's just so funny that it's now been kind of like taken down, deconstructed, kind of rightfully dragged.
Do you know how many Amityville horror movies there are to date?
You're
I know
so
a lot,
funny
but what, like
because
15?
this is my fun fact too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there are literature-wise, there are 10 literature segments. There are 8 regular movies.
When you say literature segments,
Like, so Amityville Horror, Murder in Amityville, High
but like,
Hopes.
what do you mean?
These are
books?
books.
These are books.
Okay.
Based, if it includes the Amityville story, 10 segments, 8 regular movies, 4 studio remakes, reboots, because there are 2 that are untitled,
Whoa, okay, so you're distinguishing between what movies and reboots?
so like the original, so like 3D, 4, Curse, It's About to, these are like,
So how many of those sequels were there?
there's 8 regular movies. Then the studio remakes and reboots, there's 4.
So like, do they not overlap
So like,
history-wise? Like release-wise?
97 is the last of the 8. 2005, they pick back up with
Starting with our
yes,
remake? Okay, okay.
and then 2017 it
So you
comes
said 8 like original run, and then
Yes.
remake
4
is
remake reboots. So that's like the
4.
Awakening.
Okay.
Yeah, Awakening.
Okay, so wait,
There's 2 untitled.
Uh-huh.
There's
like,
one
to
untitled
come
film
in the future.
correct, and then one that's just a reimagining.
What was the most recent one, Claudio? What was the most recent in the Amityville
universe? Now
It was a collaboration, if I remember correctly.
Okay, wait. So there's 12 altogether, 3 yet to come.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
15.
but of the independent films, that means
What do you
that
mean
face
of the independent films?
that face exactly. There are over 50 Amityville related independent films.
Oh wow! Just
I
like
will just name a
Micro
few of them.
Studio.
I'll just name a few of them, starting from 2011.
So wait.
Straight to Tubi originals, we're talking.
So
here.
wait. So this is all because this has been like part of public domain for so long.
Kind of.
Yeah, and it's
Like, just because it was like constantly
Well, because they couldn't get the trademark on the town name, is what it was.
Oh, okay, so that's one. Okay, that's
So you can kind of
Funny. Okay,
rehash
so
a
they can do-
haunted house
Sorry, I
story.
just
they
need to
can
know.
do things like the Amityville Playhouse,
Sure, yeah.
the Amityville
yeah, Dollhouse,
Exorcism.
that's too funny.
What's another one? Amityville Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
Amityville Elevator.
I don't-
Amityville Turkey Day.
Wait.
elevator.
Amityville VR.
You said elevator.
There's also Amityville NATO.
What? Of course.
Oh, okay, that's the one you're.
The
Of
mashup
course.
with Sharknado and Amityville Horror.
It makes as much sense as
it
anything.
feels like it's come to a full circle of how ridiculous, like,
Yes.
Come to
it
this.
is.
If I remember correctly, there's like the Amityville bathroom or like the Amityville toilet or something like
Yup.
that. That's a straight to Tubi original, and that one is fucking ridiculous.
Amityville Death Toilet is what
Death
it's called.
Toilet, that's it.
Frankenstein Rideshare.
Why?
It's all ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. Amityville Karen. There's an Amityville. So like all this to say,
Joe, give me a mythological beast.
Griffin.
A griffin. Okay, Claudio, give me a
I love
give
improv.
me a household appliance.
Spoon.
The Amityville Griffin spoon. We just
And
wrote
it's
the
there.
newest
and
one.
it's there. It's so funny.
50 better make it 51, bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my favorite Amityville vibrator. Because why not? Because all this to say, as time goes on and the legacy of it erodes, we just see how ridiculous.
Vultures are picking at the carcass.
Absolutely. And like,
But you know what? Goes to just further discredit those motherfuckers from the beginning.
and they listen. These indie films are like they're working their ass off. 2024 alone, there was what 3, 6.
Well,
There are 8
Yeah.
movies.
okay, like so does porn. Like, you know.
And
I didn't even get to pornographic releases yet.
Yeah, you touched on a couple, I think. Right?
but like all that to say, like I don't think, and like, please correct me if I'm wrong if you know off the top of your head. I don't think there's any other.
Pretty sure I don't.
Like
What are you gonna?
legacy like movie that's been like so exploitative down the line, so like
Or just so often.
so often
'Cause I
like
couldn't-
gone to
Okay,
like
sure,
guys
sure,
like what's the next indie movie we can do? What Amityville mythical
No,
creature
now it's the
appliance.
Pooh Bear bullshit.
Well, like the Pooniverse.
He said, yeah, this is that's getting into just like what is in public domain that's easy to make, because then you
Yeah.
have like Screamboat Willie.
Screamboat, yeah, Screamboat. You have, I mean, like Pinocchio and
There's
Strong,
the
Baby the
Grinch
Reckoning.
movie. Pretty much anything David Howard Thornton's done in the
Yeah.
last fucking 15 years.
But you have all these separate IPs, and I'm pretty sure combined with whatever they're working on, is a quarter of what Amityville has ran with.
I think it's one of those franchises that it's like the original idea has not, like, no other movie has been pumped dry as much as this one has.
I feel like Chainsaw is coming close.
Chainsaw is coming
Chainsaw?
close, but Chainsaw's still staying so close to what the like, we have to have a chainsaw, we have to have a Leatherface, we have to have some sort of family fucked upness.
The thing with Chainsaw
That's
is
a real
they
word.
did like so many so quick on Netflix or whatever it feels like.
you
Whereas
think 'cause-
Halloween still has like I think the most, but like they were kind of spread out. I
Yeah.
don't know.
For sure.
Like,
But okay, so we've established that Amityville is clearly quantity over quality.
Yeah.
That being said, are we trying
You
to
just
get
wanna
into the
just-
original?
yeah. So, well,
Origins. how we got into
opening
it.
question. Yeah.
Before we go
origins,
into the
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you guys first get exposed to this in any sort of way? I can remember back in the day, I didn't watch the movie until like way later on. I was probably like late teens, but I had always known the story because my dad had told me stories about the movie and about the things, because we went for we were out and about in Central Jersey, I guess, one time. We were out for a ride or something, and he was like, "Oh, you know the Amityville Horror House is around here." And I was like, "What? Don't know about that." And so he showed me, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, like that is," and he like went on this whole spiel about it, and it's like regurgitating the information from another information down the line. The ghosts have spoken.
Oh. Amy,
Get him, ghosts. Get him.
Amy, what are you doing?
Anyway, and it was like the story got like misconstrued in a way that it was like kind of like my interpretation was that this is the house that it actually happened in, and it was like, no, it was just the filming location of the original movie.
It's still neat.
Yeah, still neat.
It's a pretty house.
It is.
A lot of cool shots.
Yep.
The exterior.
It's not often you see a house that looks like a jack-o'-lantern.
Kind of big old face.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Monster House.
Yeah, and it's a very like an iconic, picturesque thing.
So they pushed it hard on all the posters. It was,
and it was like it was
iconic.
calling back to the original house that was in New York State. Like had a very similar look to it and everything.
Long Island.
But the thing that I really like they got wrong in a lot of it was like the original house was like in a development, like it was on a street, like in a neighborhood where it's
was
like
just an
every time it's
everyday
in
house.
film, it's like, oh, you gotta drive a mile up the road to go get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The most picturesque. Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, I didn't actually watch the movie until like later on, and when I was already like a horror head, and I was just like, I don't think I've ever watched like the original of this. I've seen probably have seen the remake at like a sleepover or something, but it just never really like
I
jumped
think
out
I
at me.
also like watched it maybe at a sleepover party at some point when I was like 10 or 11, and I especially had like a vague awareness of it just because like my family lived on Long Island for a little bit. But like I recalled nothing really about it when I watched it like a year ago as an adult. So like again, a vague awareness, but no real deep connections.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds with a beard.
Yeah, and then I did
That's
not.
about it.
I missed the remake when it came out on purpose, despite really appreciating Melissa George and honestly Ryan Reynolds at the time when I was
with a beard, shirtless, with like black doll's eyes.
But no,
back to
so I
Jaws.
didn't
I'm
watch
sorry.
either of these until, like I said,
Yeah.
about a year ago.
For me, I don't remember what thing it was, whether it was like an I Love or like the 100 scariest like, horror movie moments. I don't remember.
Horror movie countdowns.
Yeah, it was a countdown of sorts where I saw the original
Next on Watch Mojo.
Exactly. It was actually on the way here.
Yep.
For the original Amityville Horror, and I remember it was like the muck and the dog, and then just them like run, like they were talking so highly of it, and I'm like, ooh, this is like baby Claudio, so still terrified of horror. So I saw the remake much later down the line, and like again, the shaking of head feels right because and then going backwards, and I'm like, okay.
Not at you, just the movie.
Well, it resonates.
My general shade and that general production.
Absolutely.
Not the cast, but pretty much everything else.
Like Glenn doing his research, knowing that it's like, not real. It's not in the realm of reality as described. I'm like, it kind of pops the balloon of like, okay, like, do I believe in like, everything not on this plane still be on this plane? Absolutely. But it kind of, takes the rose-colored lenses off and like sees it for like a fiction, and that makes me see it in a different light, and not as scared. Even though like sure, bump of the night things scare the fuck out of
Are
me.
you saying like it kind of helped young Claudio to take it in or whatever?
Well, much down the line when I saw the remake, and then seeing it timeline-wise, I saw the remake. Found out that the reality of it being unreal, then seeing the OG. So like it kind of walking into the OG and looking like, oh, this was nothing.
Yeah, it was just one of those like, man, you saw it, I think. All right,
gonna
cool,
say,
moving
yeah.
on.
Yeah, if
watched
you've seen a
them both.
haunted house movie, you've kind of seen.
There's better ones. There's
yeah.
better ones that we
So
would have
many.
watched at some point, and it's like. Also, for the time that it wasn't exactly showing anything new or anything exciting. Like,
Well, so here's what, so like what was, because it was a bit of a hit, right? So
Yeah.
like other than the like real life, quote unquote, factor of it all, like what was the appeal? So I didn't read any reviews at the time.
I think it was mainly
Well, I would
just the
imagine the
cast.
cast.
It's
So-
just the cast
and
because
that's
they didn't go
still-
off on like special effects too much in it.
It feels kind of mid and uneventful, and like you have like your typical ghosty, haunty things. Like I feel like furniture moves, right?
Yeah,
Don't like drawers move in a kitchen at some point.
yeah,
like,
I think
barely
so.
remember a
Like
lot of it.
your standard poltergeist activity, window
mostly-
slamming shut on a child's hand.
I'm mostly just like,
A very
hi, Margot
tense scene
Kidder,
of-
I'm here
yeah.
for you again.
A very tense scene of cutting wood.
Keep drinking and smoking cigarettes and just being lovely on camera. You're fantastic, and James Brolin, you're also cool and
Yeah.
funny here. Rescue that dog.
There was a couple of like
That's about it.
there's a
Like,
couple of neat things that were done. I'll say they were neat, but it wasn't like groundbreaking stuff.
That's
Like
what I mean.
you're not
those
like,
were
none
all
of this-
they were real flies. Like that's pretty cool.
I feel like we've watched a lot of like, these SLASHICS and like, oh, that's where this comes from, or oh, that was innovative or interesting for the
Absolutely.
time. Whereas this just feels so mid.
Yeah, this feels like it didn't.
You
really
kind of
cut
don't
edge
want
on
to give it
anything.
credit for
Yeah.
anything that it may have translated.
But I feel like,
forward.
like it takes a while for you to even penetrate how unremarkable it is because of the layers upon layers of scandal and controversy in real life and not real life and, con artistry and whatever before you can even get to the,
This is a real C's get degrees a movie. It's
kind of just,
Like,
yeah,
it
it
pa-
takes
It's
away, I
like you
think.
break down the plot. It's like family enters house, stuff happens in house, family leaves house. That's it. Wrap it up. That movie did not need to be 2 hours long. I could have told you that much.
It's just hard to, get tweaked by The Shining, Poltergeist, and then get sequel upon sequel upon sequel, and just not like have that
Admittedly,
luster
Poltergeist 2's pretty
wiped away.
alright. I kind of like Poltergeist 2.
Yeah, I'm not shit talking
Yeah, yeah,
Poltergeist.
yeah.
I'm just saying
Like something like this.
the
yeah.
sequels to this. I'm
Because
saying
like
just piling
they had
on
initially,
and diluting
as
the
far
original.
as I understand, they had initially been like the basis for like the sequel and then 3D, which
That in itself.
Another
I'm
Jaws
gonna-
overlap.
I'm a touch on 3D right quick. What the fuck, guys? Come on,
I have
come
not
on.
seen it.
But the idea of the second one was going to be like the story being told from one of the Lutz's children's perspectives. But like instead of sticking to the book and being like, hey, like this is what happened, and like playing nice with what they came up with to write the story.
And when you say
the
the
child,
book,
or
you mean a
the
nonfiction-
the proverbial book, sticking to the like the
Oh,
rules.
just okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, the kid that was involved, like the Lutz child that was involved with how the story was to be told, immediately was like, yeah, this is all bullshit. This is
this-
this is fake as fuck.
Before this movie came out, though, wasn't there some publication? Wasn't there a book? Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
That was the 77 with
Yeah,
Jay.
yeah, with Jay Anson. Yeah.
But it is titled The Amityville Horror.
Yes,
right?
it
Which
is.
kind of
Correct.
very-
So it was interesting though, like the whole reason that they pulled the plug on the first book deal is because DeFeo's attorney was like, hey, this is gonna help solidify my insanity plea that we have going here. It's total bullshit, it's fabrication, and I understand that you're faking all of this. But if you write this fucking book and we get you in a deal with somebody, you'll get paid, I'll get paid, the writer will get paid, DeFeo will get paid.
We'll all get paid, man.
It's gonna be great. And then the Lutzes were like, well, why don't we just like cut out the other two people and just like us get paid and the writer get paid? So they ran off and did the thing. But at the end of the day, the book still helped with the insanity plea. But DeFeo being who he is, which is a very sad individual who was just a drug abusing slouch of a human being, just kind of was like, nah, it was all fucking bullshit. I just fucking did it. He said, and he's changed his story so many times. He's like, yeah, I woke up one night and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And then another time he was like, my sister was there and she also helped, but like his sister wasn't there. And like, he's changed his story so many times that like judges are like, we're done hearing you talk about this. Like,
Yeah.
You're fucking sentenced. You still killed 6 people. Asshole.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't even remember the movie being, like, all that. Well, I mean,
The only thing that they did get correct from the real case was in the remake, they have, like, the flashes of, like, the newspaper clippings and, like, things like that. They had a faux phone call, like a faux 911 call.
Yeah.
Of somebody being like, yes, a guy just came in the bar, he said his entire family was murdered, da-da-da-da-da. That actually fucking happened. DeFeo literally killed his entire family, got a shower, got changed, and drove to the bar down the street, and then went, walks in and goes, my whole family's been murdered. It was a mafia hitman. So it's like, that's like really the only thing that was like truthful out of all of it. All right, but to put all of that aside, I know I
did he not have an explanation for like why the mob wanted? Like, I wonder why that
they
was
had a
safe
disagreement.
cover story.
They had a disagreement,
That's what I mean. Like,
You know
was the
what, for
mob
the
just
mob-
picking on him?
and he made up the name of the hitman too.
Well, naturally, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But like,
But it was
not
like it was something ridiculous, like Luigi Giuseppe did it. It's like, oh, what?
that just is racist.
Yes,
But like,
yes.
but also
George Tropicana.
not like I owe money.
George Glass did it.
Not like I'm a gambler and I
Sure,
just need,
Jan.
you know, I got in with the wrong people.
No.
Just,
It's
I'm just a
No,
poor victim
he was
of a bunch of random bullies.
He was someone who thought that he was a hell of a lot smarter than the police. It may have just been the heroin and the LSD talking, but yeah, he thought he could just get away with it.
Well,
To not discredit anything else that's happened, I did dive pretty heavily into this case to like try to do some concise research and stuff. Like there was heavy abuse in the household. George Lutz Sr. or not George Lutz Sr. DeFeo Sr. Horrible, shitty human being. There was a lot of familial abuse. Come to find out that that was also kind of the case with like the Lutz family, but that's besides the point.
I mean, that's probably always going to be true in these types of cases. But
Yeah, unfortunately.
I was going to say with the movie, I
with the
remember like on top of like, the cast was cool and we like that, and that's probably was a big draw for audiences at the time. You know, for horror heads, like I wrote in my review like, there's kind of a lot of blood and violence depicted, but like you were saying, like 6 bodies, six human beings, lives taken. And like I don't know, I kind of vaguely don't remember much from the movie itself.
Because they were all cutaways. It was a lot of just gunshots. There's no on-screen deaths.
But like there wasn't even like 6 members of the family, right? Like I forget who even was the victims. Was it like realtors and neighbors and stuff?
No, it was like mom, dad, and brothers and sisters.
But in the movie, that's not.
Mm-hmm.
See, this one, I barely remember. Like, other than like Margot Kidder like smoking cigarettes and like hanging out in the first half, and like
Pretty cool dog too.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the dog makes it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the original. Like, all right, 79 is Stuart Rosenberg, the director for this. He was kind of a well-known,
OG, yeah.
For the OG, yeah. He was kind of well known for like his TV movies and stuff like that. Like he was not like a prestigious big name director. He did have Cool Hand Luke under his belt, which is pretty cool. That was a big fundamental film, so I can see how the studio would be like, let's hand it over to him to like kind of work on something. He also did work on the original Defenders TV show.
The British one. The British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also had writing by Sandra Stern, Jay Anson, which is the novelist, and George Lutz, writing credit. But starring, this is where the movie kind of takes all of its everything, is we got James Brolin. I don't know which number of movies this was. I think it was very early in his career when he did this. I don't know if it was like his first film or not, though. Because it definitely wasn't Margot's. Margot had a fucking career going at this point.
He actually started in '63. So,
Okay.
But I feel like of the one, he had Westworld. He had other Iron Man Flynn.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot he was in Westworld.
So he had some movies.
Yeah, he had some stuff going on. So he was a name. Apparently, he had a very hard time getting work after this movie came out because people thought he was actually crazy, which is funny. But the shining star of the entire production was Margot Kidder, who, of course, was Lois Lane. She was also, I forget her character's name in Black Christmas.
I'm gonna say, yeah, but that's what, yeah.
But, like, fantastic big name.
Favorite person in Black
Barb.
Christmas. Barb,
Barb,
of course.
yeah.
Yes.
Barb. Her extension is fellatio. It's a new one. But as far as like a fun little trivia fact about Margot Kidder with this movie, I have two really good ones. There's a scene 20 minutes into the movie where she's like washing dishes after they've moved into the house, and Margot Kidder's character is humming a song as she's washing dishes. She's humming the love theme from Superman.
Ah, cute.
Oh, that's
I was like, that's a fun little like wink and a nod.
little. If you know, you know.
She also had a massive problem on set with ruining takes. Because they would film these very intense scenes where James Brolin is yelling at her or like that she's with the kids or something, and she would ruin the takes because she would start laughing.
I love that, though. I'm glad that she's
And I
not
was like,
genuinely...
I love-
She's just like me, for real.
People think that James Brolin is actually crazy and scary, so they don't want to work with him, and Margot Kidder's like...
That's nice, though. I like that.
I love it. May have been because, you know, she was just having a great time on set. Who knows?
Yeah, what I do remember from the movie is like some nice effects, and like I apparently wrote at one point that like there's like a decent amount of like violence even off screen depicted, but like yeah, I feel like just the middle, like the second act drags.
Yeah.
You know, and like
There was a really cool, two of my favorite effects were involving the Red Room in the basement. The first being, not chronologically in the movie, but like the first one that comes to mind is like the blood pit, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Like solid floor turning into a giant deep puddle. That was a cool shot. The other one that jumps out in my mind is when he unearths the Red Room and you see the visage of a bearded man in the wall looking back at him. That was James Brolin's brother wearing a beard.
that's awesome.
That's cool.
They were like, we need somebody that looks like him, so let's slap a beard on old James's brother here. And
That's fun. I hope he's like an accountant, and it was just like, ugh, you need me to do what? Like, this is the last time.
yeah. I think the other saving grace for me was that like at the finale, the dog actually ends up saving the day.
Right, yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
the-
Pulls the crazy man out of the blood pool, and they get the fuck out of there.
Man's best friend.
Because he went back for the dog.
So I'm saying in the movie, the family lives. Okay, that's what I was saying
They
earlier.
are- I mean,
Yeah.
they do it, bro.
Yeah, that's
They
what I was
do it
saying.
both.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like I was kind
Well,
of
not
shocked.
the whole family.
But yeah, it ends with them just driving off.
Yeah, they
'Cause-
drive off, and then he slams in the brakes, and they're like, "What are you doing, George? Get back in the car!"
Yeah.
And he runs back in the house. He's like, "Henry, Henry!" And he gets the dog.
Something
That's when he falls through the blood pool. But
Yeah,
annoyed me about the original was that like the two plot lines that they got, like okay, everything with the family and then everything with the priest, and they like did they ever like they like barely overlap at all. Like in the beginning, like he's
and the
kind
priest
to
just
her.
fucking shows up in their house. Just
like-
shows up and walks in and starts putzing around like, "Sure, come on in, motherfucker."
Well, I remember them starting together, but then like as things escalate, they don't ever come back, right?
No.
That's what I.
They keep
thought was kinda
contact.
weird.
Like there's a point at which one of the underlings of the priest. I don't know how priest Petri the priest monarchy hierarchy is the word. How that works, but one of
Supercard.
One of his underlings comes up and is like, "You received a letter from Kathy Lutz, blah blah blah," and reads him the letter after he's already gone blind. That's pretty much about it. I will say that the guy that played the priest was Bob Steger. I have him quoted in here as sweaty.
Bob Seger?
Steger. I have him quoted in here as being sweaty, which is actually a lie. He for the fly scene, he was covered in honey to get the flies to go on his face. That's why he looks so gross all the time. He also played General Decker in Mars Attacks. And I was like, that's a cool little nod. I like that. I didn't know that he did a bunch of like small roles and stuff, but I was like, the angry general who was like, fuck it, just kill the aliens. That was him. And I was like, oh.
Man.
I love that like a laugh and a Snickers all we're really getting out of this though. It's like there's really nothing going on with this fucking movie.
Well, like I think we've talked.
Like the story, the real life story is so much more harrowing. Like the movie itself, I found like kind of limp.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I don't know. Whatever.
It almost feels like if they made a movie about the DeFeo family murder, it like as like a true crime thriller, it would have probably been at least more interesting.
But just as exploitative.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast.
So then fast forward. Oh no.
No, that's what
I was gonna say. Are we gonna
like,
fast forward what 25, 26 years?
from 79 to 05. So
Well,
that's
okay, wait. You were saying earlier. So wait, okay. So 79 original, and then we did 7 more.
Yes.
Okay. So those 7, like those 8 movies, whatever, go from what 79 to
97.
97.
To 97, yeah.
So, okay, so then there's
one of
8
which includes
years.
a 3D pig dog demon.
So like,
Yes.
No, well, but for 30 seconds, I thought there were monsters on the earth. Is what I just flashed
I
to.
thought it was real.
I'm not an idiot.
for the sake
What
of
have they done to us?
for the sake of filling time while we transition into 2005, brief touch, Amityville 2, based on the book Murder in Amityville.
Yes.
Amityville 3D, aka Amityville 3, The Demon. That's
Right.
That's
itself.
Pig Dog.
yeah.
Right,
Amityville 4, The Evil Escapes, based on Amityville, The Evil Escapes. So,
Okay.
so a lot of these are just basically like we have the book, make a movie.
Yeah, we've done it before. We can do it again.
Amityville Curse.
Wonder if it was different authors.
Same
or if it was just
thing.
Oh, yeah, there was tons of
folks
different
coming
authors.
back and forth.
For
or-
sure.
I guess.
Jay Anson made his money and fucked off.
All right,
The
well,
second and the third movie,
lot of
though, I
these-
will point out, that's when the Warrens are brought in as demon consultants.
Demonologists.
Yeah, demonologist consultants to make sure that people really understood the real peril of not being baptized.
The one thing I will say, the final 3, Amityville, It's About Time, is the funniest title
because it's
for
a time
movie,
travel thing, right?
But based on...
Is it not a time travel? Does that not factor into the plot?
I don't know. Oh. All I know,
Sorry.
yeah, all I know
It's just a snarky, sassy title that's impatient for its own
Amityville, It's
plot.
About Time.
It's about time.
I
What?
like to
But
think
it's-
that the fucking
It's about time. We're
the
gonna talk
breakdown,
about
the
time.
information about it is like Amityville. It's about time. Synopsis: it's about goddamn time.
No, but like, is it like is it going to be
It's
a
based on
breakdown
the
of
same-
quantum mechanics, or is it? Or are we just like we're
No,
tired of waiting?
Marty!
It is about time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, is
Or
this
is
a
it
preposition?
about time?
It's funny because the poster of it is the house and then the clock behind it.
Of course.
Graphic design is my passion. But the funny thing is that was based on the same book as 4.
Mm-hmm.
So as 2 movies, they're running out of steam.
So from 97 to 05, we have an 8-year quiet period of
Before-
no Amityville.
Yep.
And then we have 05, and then you said that had a bunch of like 3
So
sequels.
from 05 we have 2017, which is Amityville: The Awakening.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. So you're saying 4 movies went from 05 to 17?
05 to now.
Yeah.
05 to now.
Yeah,
so it's
so-
an even longer stretch.
Yes,
for
we have
full-
Yeah,
two-
and
we
these
have
are
2005.
and these were the studio releases.
Yes.
Not the
indies.
Yeah.
So we have 2005's
Okay.
Amityville. 2017 is the next Amityville that comes out after that. So 12 years go by.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's kind of what I was trying to zero in on.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this was, the 05 remake was so successful
That 12 years later, we
that it
get
took 12 more years for them to take another stab
Yeah.
at it.
Oh, hey.
outside of the
Amityville
freaks.
Awakening.
I guess take another
That's
swing
fine.
at it is more appropriate.
But then these next
Okay.
2 have... There's no time frame for them. We just know that there is an untitled
Well, that's
film.
what I was going to ask. Was it 2 or 3 that are
2.
yet to, just 2?
2 that are TBAs at this point. We just know that they exist in the realm.
Do we have
and
any names attached?
Nope, just
Okay, so
they're
then
both
fuck 'em. They don't-
untitled.
they're- they
It's
don't
probably
exist.
like we have a script and we
cares?
have the rights. So we're holding on to it.
So again, pretty dead franchise, I feel like at this point. Pretty
Yeah.
dead IP.
It'll be interesting though for those 2 because they're going in 2 separate directions. One is a reimagining of the classic, and the other has it's titled to have nothing to do with the IP. It is a focus on the real life paranormal story behind the films. So it's being
almost more
coined as a
documentary?
new look at the
yeah.
at the
Nonfiction.
house.
So that was another fun thing about the original is that like people have said that it's like that the production was like had its issues and that the house
Haunted.
actually was haunted. It's like, bro, they were trying to sell these stories, but it was not filmed in the same fucking house.
Can you imagine that?
Well, any time you put on a play about ghosts or tell a campfire story, you're inviting ghosts.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, all that to say,
Anyway,
after the marathon of movies from 79 to 97, like you said, 8 years later, we get to 2005.
Yeah, Platinum
Platinum
Dunes is in
Dunes.
full,
And so
full swing of scrubbing up everything they can with their nasty little fingers.
so I was gonna ask then. So I feel like the next, like, big iteration of these stories were in the Conjuring movies, which got kind of
Similar,
picked up.
yes, but I don't think that Amityville was ever touched on.
Was it the third one? Wasn't it Conjuring 3? Devil Made Me Do It.
No.
Mostly based on.
That was the Enfield haunting.
That was
Okay, then okay, cool. Never
because
mind.
the first one was the whatever one, I forget the name of that haunting.
Oh, but I mean, it's the Warrens though.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
like, it has that overlap.
Yeah.
yes, the Warrens are
I think
the.
Like,
there's
like-
reference to it, but like that's about it. Like
But nonetheless, I
Yeah.
feel like there's
Yeah.
not an insignificant amount of The Conjuring that piggybacks a little bit off of all of this.
Yeah.
Is what I
Absolutely,
think that's
yeah.
like not a bold claim. But so anyway, that being said, that kicks off. When was The Conjuring? 07? 06?
Conjuring was the
first
first
one.
Conjuring,
Yeah.
2013.
So oh wow, so right, okay,
Yeah.
so it takes a little bit of years.
that was a fun year.
So it just
thinking
goes to
about it.
show that
Yeah.
like this 05 remake did not like. I mean, it didn't.
It
Make
didn't
money,
grab.
right?
It
Didn't make an impact in the culture or anything. It was just another Platinum Dunes bullshit 05 crap remake.
I'm sensing a trend where things are just being created.
You can't expect these Walmart $5 grab bag movies to make money, Joe. Come on. You're
Well,
buying
so-
them for $3, buy one, get one free.
Kind of gearing up to my big take on 05, which is if we're like kind of shifting into the remake
Yep.
mode now. Like, so like the first half of the movie, I'm like, all right. The original was like kind of meh, whatever, limp, but happy ending. Dog got saved, basic family, terrorizing ghosts, whatever. Blah blah blah. I'm 3-star movie, 3 out of 5 stars. I'm with it. Cool. I'm watching the remake. First half, I'm like, okay, this is just like part of the cheap trend. They got some real hotties to slot in. We're
To
buying
be fair,
tickets.
they had hotties in the original. They got
That's what I'm
hotties in
saying.
the remake.
If
right.
nothing else, that's what they're consistent on.
So I'm kind of not rocking.
The
with
Amityville
it.
hotties.
I'm hanging for the first half of the movie.
That's my new remake.
And then like, do we care about spoilers?
I think
It
we're
came
in,
out in 05.
Yeah, we're 21 years down the line.
Not for nothing. I feel like people would appreciate this heads up because whereas in the
very-
original,
very true.
we're like, hey, yeah, dog gets saved, happy ending, blah, whatever. This fucking movie.
Absolutely no warning either.
About halfway through, dog doesn't survive, and from then on out, I'm just like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, and like, I just like, there was nothing pulling me back, and it
Yeah.
was just the worst.
Not only is that like a
I DNF'd it. I
was very close.
Yeah, I DNF'd my rewatch. I actually
close.
got to a point with this one, which I'm usually like, I'll power through on a lot of
It
stuff.
literally falls apart at the end. Like, I was telling you a little bit in the
DNF'd
car.
it with like the last like 15 minutes going. And I was like,
The
I
whole
don't fucking
scene
care.
Has nothing to do with nothing. It feels like a Silent Hill cutscene. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
man. Why you gotta bring Silent Hill? No.
Not that I
But
don't even mean
but
to
like-
shit talk Silent Hill, but just it felt like a nothing like random video game cutscene of like a horror video game because it ends, if I'm not mistaken, on just like I don't know, like they go back, the camera goes back into the house or something, and like there's just some random little girl ghost, I don't know, standing at the bottom of the stairs. She's like vaguely gray, and then just starts like glitching on the screen, and it's just like, what are we doing? Like, what is this the end?
Oh, that was
Like,
Jody.
what-
You didn't get that? That was Jody.
I guess
think
I'm
it was her name,
stupid.
Jody.
I was just
I
like,
don't even remember the girl's name. I
just
watched this yesterday.
It just like I don't know. From the boat scene to the like zombie-eyed Ryan Reynolds, like we were all happy to see his shirt off, but like I don't know.
it's a unfortunate but
Chloe Grace
predicted-
Moretz is innocent, Melissa George is innocent, and I don't even.
Yeah.
I wasn't even mad at Ryan Reynolds at this point, but like, God, like what did this movie think it was doing right?
But that's the thing. It's the unfortunate but very predictable at this point byproduct of the Platinum News and our 2000s thing where like it's shock value, it's dark,
Tastelessness.
Like, it's tastelessness.
Yeah, just crass.
Like the scene that really just like icked me, like Dog is up there.
Dog
Like,
sucks, yeah.
But like the one where like the babysitter's locked in like the closet when
The
she's
other
locked
bright
in
spot
the-
of this movie was
Yeah.
the babysitter.
Yeah, the
Rachel
babysitter-
Nichols Rachel Nichols, I'm sorry, who I came to love through her Canadian television sci-fi series Continuum, a real, fun time travel procedural
Joe,
that I
I
enjoyed.
think you were the only person to watch that show.
Which is why I'm shouting out. Because, and then it came out in, I think, like,
If you're
I
a
don't know,
Continuum fan, please just vindicate Joe, please.
16 maybe, 2016 or 17. But so whatever, I'm watching this like last year, so 25 or 4 or whatever. I'm seeing this woman who I thought was like a real cool, like, action procedural, could have been in like action movies, like big stuff. Her just being the worst babysitter in 2005, like, but not only the worst because she was irresponsible.
Also, where was she hiding the bong?
That's what I'm saying. She's like
She didn't
smoking
walk
and
in with
getting
a
high
purse.
in front of these kids, but like, also the worst babysitter in that, like, she's the worst depiction of it. Like what a like transparent cliche of like just the tiniest, like skimpiest outfit and just like, I don't know. It was
I
just
think the only thing that I took away from that whole ordeal
so outlandish.
was the eldest
So
son's
cliched.
son's acting towards her.
And then just all that.
When he was like, I'm Billy. She's like, you said that. It's just like, he's just gobsmacked
everything
with
about
this
this poor
woman
woman's
standing in front of
depiction,
him. Yeah.
it was just so laughable.
Yeah,
I
but
couldn't
Jodie was the kid's name, by the way. Jodie
Jodie.
DeFeo. Yeah.
couldn't take any of it seriously.
Yeah, the other.
But yeah, that closet scene where it's like, ghost, and then just like, there's no like.
I know a piece of trivia about that scene too that was like very unfortunate. A lot of the trivia I know about this movie is actually kind
tragic.
of is unfortunate. I'll give you guys a bad one and then I'll give you a cool one. How about that?
Sure.
I'll pad it.
A compliment burger.
All right.
Trivia, Daddy.
All right, so the scene with the closet and the babysitter, apparently when they set up stunts and effects for it, they had given her a foam rubber door to smash into.
Oh no.
They gave her a foam rubber door. They filmed it several times. And this is like her like pounding on the door, kicking the door, being thrown at the door. Filmed it several times and they're like, it just doesn't look good. They swapped it for a real door. And she spent 2 days filming that scene beating on a real fucking door.
Sucks.
At that point,
That fucking blows.
you get a different fucking door.
Yeah.
If the actor's doing the same thing and it's not giving you what you need,
Yeah.
change the fucking
Well,
door.
no, they did. They got rid of the rubber door and
But
replaced
change-
it with a real fucking door.
Change that door to them because Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So like the idea of like any sort of repetitive motion over time hurts.
Yes.
When you are physically harming yourself and doing it over and over and over and over and over for 2 fucking days,
you're gonna lose.
how did she not fucking break her hands? Like, so that.
Keep thinking about the Kill Bill coffin bit.
So here's your. We're coming back to a good one. Smiles. Look at the jingle, jingle, jingle. Look at the keys. Chloe Grace Moritz, 8 years old. This was her first movie. This was her film debut. She is such a powerhouse right out the get-go. She acted her ass off in this movie. She performed all of her own stunts, which is really cool. But it is also kind of scary to see
Scary.
what they allowed an 8-year-old to do.
On the roof of that house.
It wasn't a real roof. I hope.
I just
I hope-
For a kid, I'm sure that's something.
I hope.
But then she goes on to do things like Kick Ass and Suspiria's remake.
There
so
were
like,
2 superheroes to come out of this movie.
yes,
Green
there.
Lantern.
Yeah.
And wait.
Kick Ass.
Oh, well,
Hit
okay,
Girl.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Green Lantern and Hit Girl. I guess you could technically say Deadpool, but that's just Ryan Reynolds. So,
Yeah.
where's my other one?
that was a fun
all right.
Also, Melissa George was not ever, to our minds, like in a superhero thing. However, she was in like a spy series that I really want to check out. I've never watched it. But it always
Alias.
looks cool.
Yeah, she was an Alias, right?
Well, I don't know, maybe like for a stretch, but she was the star of, it's called like Hunted or something like that.
A movie or
Yeah,
No, a series.
Yeah, it was a series. I think it was called Hunted.
It's on like Cinemax or something, but like, I don't know. It always looked really cool.
I remembered her from Mulholland Drive and 30 Days a Night.
Fuck.
Yes,
That's
30
what I was
Days
gonna
a
say.
Night.
Like, she's a horror girl.
She's also, so just because we were talking about it in another episode, but she's another someone that like was on some Grey's Anatomy
Yep.
for a while. So
I feel like
More, I don't know why it's
it's
mixed
always
up
one of those
cropping
like
up
little
now,
like Grey's Anatomy. Bam, bam, bam. We have it on every episode somehow.
it's like Law and Order. Like once you're on the air for 20 plus years, you're
Yeah.
just gonna
Oh, absolutely.
hit some industry folks. But anyway,
Got my. I'll do a downer. and then I'll do an interesting one. I'll do a downer and then an interesting one.
I thought we were done the roller coaster
Oh
ride.
no, this one. I actually got quite a bit of trivia from it because it was tons of stuff that I just didn't know and people don't typically talk about.
Absolutely.
So Ryan Reynolds, method acting to become George, right? It included him on set not interacting with the children and being very cold to them to make the transition of being mean to them easier.
You know,
Can I just get on my soapbox?
Yeah,
to-
do
yeah,
it, do
yeah,
it, do it.
fuck
Do
this
your method acting
acting
thing.
shit.
Do
Yeah,
it.
Method acting is a fucking joke. You method act to be a bad person, to be this twisted mind. Like you never see like someone being like a philanthropist, a kind person, like just a good person. You never do that.
I was
And
portraying
it's-
a philanthropist, so I went in my real life and I donated a ton of money just to get really into like how it felt to like help people.
You never
They never do that.
you never see it in the good. It's always the dark. It's always an excuse to be a bad person. To be like, and like heavens forbid you have to play someone who's racist and you method act that. Because Jesus Christ, how ridiculous would that be to just like
Not that any serious actor would ever do that.
I mean, like, listen. If you are a method actor and you're doing something, if it's something silly, if it's something that has no impact on your cast, go for it. Have a field day. I don't believe in it. But if you're doing it to be a genuinely bad person, or like in this case, we don't know, like, I'd like to think the kids grew up just fine. They were, they had their parents on set. They were,
sure, but nonetheless, like,
But
I don't ever want to like.
if
be
you're
a
playing the
crappy
father,
kid. Jeez.
the last thing
Not
I
unless
would
they deserve it. I mean,
if I'm playing the father in a family horror where like I'm eventually going to be like, with the intent to harm them.
yeah,
the
I'm
last
screaming
thing I
in
want
your
to
face and threatening you.
the
in a
last
scene.
thing I want to do offset or between takes
Is make them feel
embody
uncomfortable.
that.
Yeah.
No, I want to make sure that like after set, I go up to him. Hey, are you okay? You did so great. Like
Best example of that, fucking Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise.
Yeah.
He had such a great time on set with those kids. He made sure they felt comfortable. They were cracking jokes the entire time. But it's like, hey, when they say go, I'm screaming in your face.
Yeah,
Like I'm
there is
here
a
to
line.
terrify you. But as soon as that camera's cut, we are buddies.
We're done.
I need you to trust me and know that we are still friends.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
It's
so
all about trust.
it's as Tony Collette once said famously, method acting is just a bunch of wankery, because it is. Thank
His
you.
mother. So.
Anywho,
All right,
this movie fucking sucks.
Jingle, 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 jingle. Do you know who wrote this movie?
Actually,
Oh,
I do.
I thought I did.
Scott Kozer. Scott Kozer wrote this movie. Scott Kozer wrote Texas Chainsaw 03. He also wrote
Right, okay.
Haunting in Hill House, The Crazies, and The Machinist.
I'm gonna say of those, the only thing I can give any credit to is The Machinist. I think.
I don't know, Haunting in Hill House is fucking incredible.
Is it the '99? Which Haunting? of
The
Hill
Mike
House?
Flanagan series.
Oh. Okay, so series work, but okay.
Yeah, some series work, but still.
Well, no, that's
Good
a
little
bad
jingle,
thing, but
yeah.
like just like different from like a whole feature versus like, oh, I contributed to a series. Like,
Yes.
For sure.
Like,
Like, have you guys ever seen The Machinist?
Yeah.
No.
oh my god, yeah.
With
Haunting.
Christian Bale. Have you heard of this one?
No,
It was filmed
let
just
me actually
after
look at
Batman
it.
or just before Batman.
Like it was around.
It was either right before
Begins-
or right after because it was like that's when he did that full
He
body
went back and forth.
transportation.
I think it was right before.
Yeah.
No,
right
I
before.
haven't
and he
seen
had to go
this.
buff for.
He got, and that's why he was buff in the
Begins,
final scenes for it too.
Holy shit.
It's just it's wild.
It is. It's haunting.
I feel like for like our general sort of generational ages, like that was a real like, oh, if you're like into like art house indie, movies in the 2000s, like you saw The Machinist. Like that was a big
Very
college
much looks
movie for
indie,
me.
or
Like,
art
Sure.
house.
Yeah.
but no, wild one.
Directed by Andrew Douglas. I didn't really find anything from Andrew Douglas that I was like, I really remember that. But I did find out that he did direct 2 episodes of Mindhunter, which I know me and you were fans of, which I thought that was really fun. Production was Michael Bay and Platinum Dunes again.
Well, and I think we noticed that, like, and again, I'm not trying to throw shade at TV folk, but like, there is a lot more room for within, like, just like like the industry, whatever, like for like journeyman directors, like when you're doing TV, it's much more, like just generally, you always hear like, TV is a writer's medium, whereas like film is like the director's medium, right? Like one is more visual and
You have
whatever,
more time
and
to
the other
flesh
is more
out this
plot,
and-
serial based or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like when you are directing TV, it's not that you don't have any space for like wild creative visuals, especially like in the 21st century. Like kind of I feel like HBO kind of like helped change that around in
Oh,
the 2000s,
absolutely.
right? That's like been a whole big thing. Whatever. But like traditionally, when you're like a director that like spends a lot of time in TV, it's not because you are doing auteur work. It's because you're doing journeyman work. Nothing wrong with that. You're whatever. You're
And
learning.
Platinum
you're growing,
Dunes, I
whatever.
really feel like preyed upon that because they wanted
That's what I'm trying to
they
say.
were churning people out, whoever
That's
they
all
could
I'm
get
trying
in
to
as
say.
quickly and easily as possible. Which actually leads me to my next fucking trivia fact. You know who they optioned?
Is this the jingle one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jingle.
I need to know.
Kind of. You know who they optioned first and tried to hire, and he said, "Nah, I'm good. I
To
don't
direct
want to do
it?
it."
Acting or-
2005?
To direct.
No.
So they first approached Samuel Bayer. Samuel Bayer went on to do work for Platinum Dunes 5 years later with a little movie called Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh right.
So he literally looked at that script and went, "Nah, it's a hunk of dog shit. No, I'm out of here."
gonna do
And then,
this.
they were like, "What about this hunk of dog shit?" He's like, "Fine."
No,
God
he was
damn
like,
it.
Mom,
happens in
I'm not
5
doing
years.
this garbage. I found real classical horror.
He was just holding out for his preferred slasher.
At that point, it was like, fuck it, we ball.
I did.
They didn't ball.
I did.
Spoilers, they in fact did not.
No, they didn't.
And you can watch one of our previous episodes where we've talked about this.
Yeah, Samuel Bayer's an interesting guy. Look into his director credits for a lot of the music videos that he did because they are very influential to who we became as people with the ending of the MySpace generation. I feel like that's a good way of putting that. Or not MySpace, fucking MTV
Is
generation.
this well?
I said
So
the wrong
like the
M.
way that like I was complaining about the end of this remake, feeling like very sort of vaguely like a horror game cutscene, or just like
the movie. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say like that type of thing, or like I don't know what I would consider sort of a lesser music video, not because just because I felt like it was so easy and like hopping on a trend to be like, oh yeah, let's be like faux disturbing and just like have little girls like shaking like they're like coming out of the ring, and like it was just like such an aesthetic trend to be like, oh, spooky kids doing unnatural movements.
Yeah,
It was just like the thing
we're gonna
to
do the stutter.
It was such
Yeah.
shorthand for I want this to be creepy. Do you think I'm creepy? Please think I'm creepy.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's
Was this creepy leading up to it? How about now? What if I did this?
But so like was he like and like I'm not trying to like shit talk like Korn or Slipknot, but like I feel like those were the type of bands who like those are higher end of it, like Slipknot
So no,
rules, but like or
so
like was he
Samuel
doing like
Baer-
Disturbed and whatever, like what kind of music videos was he
Samuel Bayer did a lot of like My Chemical Romance and
Okay, who
Green Day,
who we love.
where it's like these are very cinematic, fully idealized videos.
doing? Also not trying to shit talk music videos. I love that as a medium. A lot of great directors come
Andrew
from that.
Douglas, on the other hand, did not do that. Andrew Douglas, I don't know what the fuck else he's done. So he may have just done like fucking like
Oh.
So,
Wait, so who was the music video director? Was that the
Samuel
writer?
Baer.
Oh, and he was the writer.
he's the one who denied.
He
he's
said,
the one
"No,
who
I'm
denied
not doing
it.
this."
no,
Yeah.
that's one of
He
the
was
things.
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
But going back to the stutter thing, which is actually kind of interesting because, like, say in what's a popular demo game that's done that? Oh, PT has done that, like, because it's
So good.
because it's an abnormal thing for a body to do.
Sure.
Yeah, so like it's instinctive.
It's
I'm
very
not-
Silent Hilly, and
Yeah.
it's very The Ring,
it's very,
and
like,
The
you know,
Grudge, and just like
it's very Saw, where like at the end of their traps or they're
Yeah.
like panicking, and it's that stutter. It's become
hostile. Like it was in the
Exactly.
grindcore, faux grindcore, the torture porny. Just it was again part of that grime aesthetic that I did not appreciate in the 2000s.
Yes. And
It's late stage new metal is what it is.
And that's the thing. Like,
We're living in a post new metal world now, guys.
and I think our
And it is just one of those days.
I think our slight age difference has so much to do with the fact that like you are more warm on like the new metal like of the era, where like I kind of missed a lot of avoided a lot of it.
You're
because,
like, he's rapping, no!
I kind of avoided it, whereas you lean into it. It's funny now that it's like had such a resurgence, and like I love like my favorite bands right now. I think were very much like worshiping new metal at the time, and like they are all like a little bit younger than me at this point, and it's just like funny to see it like shunning it here and then kind of
And
embracing
it's one of those like
side
shit
effects
don't
later.
change. It's all in a cyclical nature. It all comes back around at some point because somebody grew up listening to Slipknot and now
But
they're
also,
making music that sounds
fans
like
do it better. You know what I mean? If you genuinely love a thing, I think you will inevitably turn out a better thing
pay homage to
versus
it better.
the Platinum Dunes wankers that were just trying to milk, a crappy wave, set off by better other movies.
And here's another thing that and another
What else
thing.
grinds my gears?
Well, this actually is just the
I'm
roast
gonna have
of
to change the title of this one.
This
to,
is-
and another thing.
the roast of Amityville Horror because honey,
Amityville Horror, it's about time.
I got things to say about that.
Well, listen, we're gonna talk about it. One thing I realized in contrasting, and this is not a compliment, it's an observation,
Derogatory.
of the 79 to the 2005.
Actually.
Whereas 79, we acknowledge it's haunted. It is an entity of itself. Yeah?
The house, you're saying, the movie?
Yeah. The house itself. In
real-
my
The
opinion.
house
real
becomes a
life or the
character in
setting?
the movie.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So,
Because
but, like,
they never name the entity that's in the house. It's always whatever's tied to the house. The house becomes an entity, which
Yeah.
is why they personify it with the jack-o'-lantern face. With
Okay.
wings. Yeah.
Now we go to 2005, where doesn't really lean that way, but
Also,
I remember
house is now in the middle of the woods, and it's a
That.
fucking sprawling estate in Wisconsin.
so like, and it's the that just I'm gonna segue my contrast. It's the contrast of something so scary that it can be right next door to you,
Yeah.
and leaning into the isolation of it all. But when you were talking about the ending, it made me remember that the house fixes itself at the end. Like they're leaving, and all the damage, everything melds back, and I'm like, oh, the house is an entity. Like the house is a character. Like I shouldn't
they
have
made it too on
yeah,
the nose.
Yeah, I don't need you to tell me it's
This-
gonna fix it. I know it. Something is
I
there.
wouldn't necessarily mind that by itself.
Yeah.
But like,
well,
but
then
like,
just
it was,
watch Monster House. It's literally the same fucking thing.
because the
Well, they couldn't in 79. Oh, wait, but in 05.
In 05. Well, I don't know what Monster House.
talking-
is.
Shout
you're
out
talking about
Steve
the old one.
Buscemi.
You're talking about OG, right?
OG, it's an entity with
That's
the
what
Jack
you're-
Lantern
that's what you're
motif.
saying. I'm sorry.
2005, it
Yep.
spoon feeds to you that it's an entity by fixing itself while the
Oh,
girl.
that happened in the 05.
Yeah,
you're saying.
and at
Okay,
the,
yes,
at the
fuck.
ending, they make it out. They're safe, minus the dog. Hate that. And then Jody's in the middle of the house. She's just sitting there, and like the house
She's
is
over there
fixing
just like-
itself. All the damage.
You know what does that really well is Christine, the car
Yes.
movie. When it's like the reverse
Yeah,
demolition
it-
and it heals
yeah.
itself, like that's a cool effect. So when
is
you
a
said that,
really
I was like,
cool effect.
"Well, that's not like a bad idea." No,
It doesn't sound like a bad
No, no,
idea.
no. In
Well,
this,
no, I
no,
hear you.
it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
with being. It's always about context.
Yeah.
We are always sticklers for context around here, and the idea of the way that they set up this movie is it is just. I just thought of it as you were explaining this. It is very much a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat. How creepy can we make it? 16 different ways that we're going to
Right.
throw things at you. It's like, oh, look,
saying.
his eyes are black now. Ah!
And if you didn't think that there was an entity there before, she gets dragged back in the house.
We got to tell you,
By
there's
spectral
ghosts
hands.
here. There's ghosts here. The
I mean,
house-
granted, going back
the
to the
house may be a
whole
ghost.
Native American burial ground, things like that, it addresses it, and like, can't we get a better idea than a haunted house by or Native American burial grounds? Who's to say? But
I will say there is a real death tied to the making of the second. The
2005.
Uh-huh.
Oh, brother.
It doesn't have anything to do with production. So they set up production at this house in Wisconsin, and apparently days before right before they started filming, a body was found on the shore behind the house. A fisherman was murdered and tossed in the lake, and his body washed up on the thing and halted production for like a bit.
Jesus.
Was
Yeah.
it the mob?
It was probably a hitman
You fucker.
named Jimmy Taco.
Jimmy Taco.
He's always trying to steal my roles. He's stealing my lines.
He can get the lines out better than you can. Bye, same person. Nobody knows whose lines they are.
But yeah, all that to say, like, and that's also a unfortunate trend of the 2000s is spoon feeding you what the context of what you're
If you
seeing.
didn't get it before, you're going to get it after the 13th different thing that we're going to tell you.
Yeah,
about.
I mean,
We're also
explicitly.
going to soak the whole thing in a beige color.
Melissa George's character, Catherine, who's not Kathleen, I think she specifically, like, she's the one to find out, like, oh, this is what happened. This is why the house is the way it is.
Which is also stark difference from the first one, where it was like, no, we told you up front at disclosure when you bought the house, people died here.
Yeah, which is what? Say it with me, folks. Cash grab. Because it's something, a remake, sure. But now you're twisting, you're breaking from the story, don't even call it Amityville Horror at that point.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's already insulting to have, like, knowing. I mean, I forgot to ask you, when did all of that debunking, how soon from...
Yeah, when did that kind of break?
Like, 79 movie
once,
come out.
Or was it like a slow trickle of like,
So
this is bullshit?
it was
you know what I
it
mean?
was a slow trickle.
That's kinda what I
It was
thought.
relatively. It was right. I want to say
feel like it was
from
more of
what
an
I read,
erosion
it,
as opposed-
it was
as
an
opposed
erosion.
to,
Yeah,
you know,
Everything at once.
It was like pieces started falling out of place because one thing fell and then another and then another and then another. So where it had started was with the second one. That one was supposed to be based around the story from the eyes of the child who lived there, who sat down with an author, gave their blah 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 blah. They made it into a movie, and the child pretty much almost immediately, because they were like an adult at this point, where it was just like, yeah, this was all fabricated. Like, they made me say that, and it's like, this is all fucking fake. Like, I was a kid and like my memory's fuzzy, but I don't remember any of this shit happening to me. We were there, the house sucked, and we left. And it's like, from there, it was like, all right, there's that. And then there was DeFeo just recounting his story over and over and over. And the details started changing to the point that he is a unreliable narrator who just
And
likes
not the fun kind.
who just likes the attention. And then it went from there to there to there. And then it was like, you start having people that interacted with the Warrens, explaining what had happened between them and being like, oh, they pulled that shit with you? Was there someone on your front lawn a couple days before that happened? It was like, yes, because they would send people out to houses to go look at them. They were predatory. They were genuinely predatory. So it was an erosion that just kind of started with one person being like, I can tell you the truth, this was fake.
Would you say by 2005, most of the erosion has already
Most
come
of the
to...
erosion had gone. The Warren
Blooms off the
erosion,
rose?
yeah. The Warren erosion didn't happen until a little later in the 2000s,
But
because
debunking
they're
Amityville
still-
as itself.
They're still viable for The Conjuring.
Kinda,
It didn't mar
Yeah.
that movie's
Because that's 8
release.
years before
That's what I mean,
Conjuring
though.
even
Yeah.
begins.
That's what I'm saying. So-
Because and that was also like, you got to look at, like, that was the height of paranormal TV at the time too. So like, you had like Ghost Hunters, you had Ghost Adventures, you had Paranormal State, which was one of my favorites. And you know who was on Paranormal State a bunch of times? Lorraine fucking Warren.
And when was the first Paranormal Activity
07.
movie? 07, right?
Read my mind because I typed that immediately. Like, how?
Also part of the, like, a better part of, well,
2 years
I like the
before.
original.
And I think it really
For
kind of
sure,
came down to
absolutely.
like the Warren story didn't fall apart as quickly and as heavily as it should have, because people were kind of holding on to faith that they wanted it to be real.
For sure.
Which is fine.
Well, and if any scam is working, people are going to keep pushing it.
People
Exactly.
Even if it's been fully exposed.
read my mind a fucking again. I love you, Joe.
Yeah.
But all of this to say that by this point in the Amityville timeline, like I say, if you're not going to make Amityville, just make a different haunted house movie. Because if at this point you know most of like the
What was it called? Amnynado? Amityville?
Amityville, yeah.
Amnynado?
Like just make a haunted house movie instead of
Stop
using the same
Amityville
names,
National,
Yeah.
following the
Just
same
call it Jody.
skeleton.
Just call it
American
Jody.
Trade Organization?
It could have been weird enough, you know? or just
So-
call it 1974. You have no idea what the movie's going to be about. You just know when it happened.
Something else, but don't call it an Amity if you're going to change bits of it that made what Amity was what it was, even if it was false.
Yeah. I think if they were to take the IP and like try to win it back in some fashion, like we talked about this with Scream, where it was like, if they could save it, what could they do? I genuinely believe that the right thing to do for them to tell the Amityville story would be to expose the fallacies and the falsities of the story and focus in on the true facts of what happened while not glorifying the killer in any way. We're not trying to fucking what's his goddamn face from American Horror Story that directs.
Tate. Oh, Ryan Murphy.
Ryan Murphy. Yeah, we're not trying to yassify the DeFeos. I think telling the story as it should be and giving credit and like poise to the story a little bit to be like, hey,
Tact.
this is very handle it very tactfully, but you can still make it a gritty crime drama without exploiting people. Just tell the fucking story.
You can, but honestly, at this point, like, would you, like, even want to see this done again?
No.
Well,
like I feel.
I'm just saying this is how you could do it. I'm not saying
we're
I'm a
getting two
champion
more,
for it.
so we'll find out how. Because one is going to follow the reimagining, and one's going to stray from
I
it.
really hope that they
Honestly,
cast Josh Brolin to play James Brolin if they do.
believe it when I see it. Like, guys, like so many things like get greenlit and like nothing happens.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just still bitter about the Buffy reboot not happening.
Yeah,
Yo.
that's unfortunate.
But I hope they kind of never do another Amityville.
I think it's safe to say that there's enough paranormal, haunted-esque movies and possibilities out now that they can go in any which direction that doesn't take you to Amityville.
Yeah.
Well, like we were saying earlier, it's just like the only reason to do this would be like haunted house. Like if not to do real life stuff, it's just a haunted house. So like
Yeah.
just do a better haunted house. I don't know.
It's and like there's plenty of things for you to like pull ideas from. Like I genuinely believe that like the tiny little ounce of story that we got from the game demo of PT would make an incredible movie. That would be such a cerebral, weird, and it also fits with like the new era that movies are trying to do of like focusing in on liminal horror. Because the whole idea is that it's a hallway that continues to repeat as you keep walking around and things change.
I mean, I guess we'll see with Backrooms if it's successful and how it happens.
I have no idea how the fuck they're gonna pull that off.
But I'm just saying, I feel like that could be a future for like haunted house type like subgenre movies, because like that's the one thing
because they've
that, like,
already
we haven't
begun really leaning into it now. It's like because they're leaning into this whole liminal horror thing, which is something that I haven't quite understood yet.
Which I wonder if it's going to be like found footage, or if it's not even going to be a trend, or if it's
we
going
already
to be
got
like
something
a new
like
thing, or you know,
Skinamarink had like a pretty big ripple.
Yep.
Like that caused some stir when it came out.
For sure.
So
It was also very polarizing on which way. You
I feel
either
like-
loved it or... Sorry.
No, go on.
I was
like-
gonna say, you either loved it or hated it
Which
for
is
the
fine.
fact of how liminal it was.
Which is fine. That means people are talking about it. Which, as like somebody who makes movies, that's what you want. You want people to talk about
you
it.
want word of mouth to...
I feel like Skinamarink and Undertone are kind of like trying to bridge between like found footage and liminal.
Yeah.
Like playing with like, it's kind of real, but it's also another dimension or pocket realm.
I
or,
kind
you
of
know,
get the vibe that that's what Faces of Death is going to try and do as well. That it's going to try and play with that a little
I'm
bit.
so shocked that that's like getting remade. Yeah, like I wouldn't think with a 10-foot pole, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they're really leaning
that-
into it with the advertising where...
That's what I'm saying. They're
So,
not
like-
even being shy.
Well, like,
just,
I
don't know.
appreciate that, like, if you know Face of Death, you know Face of Death. So all the posters are, like, one of those, like, you know, this image contains sensitive material.
Yeah,
and
it's the OG VHS cover too, and I'm like, damn, y'all are really going for it on this one.
I don't... At this day and age, I don't think they're actually going to go there. But it's doing exactly what we just said.
We're talking about
word
it.
of mouth.
Yeah, we're talking about it. You know what we're not talking about? Another fucking Amityville movie.
I hope not for a long
Not for
time.
a long time.
Hopefully not. But if you suffered through those movies, thanks for joining us through this hopefully more enjoyable pod, which was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like we were.
There's-
more entertaining than what the movie presented, in less of a runtime than what they gave us.
Well, like, above all else, there was bound to be a time where there was a movie we talked about where it was like, 1, 2, 3. We hated it.
Bad.
And no Paula. There's no Paula Abdul for this.
So,
besides the actor.
I
Besides
thought it
the
was
actress.
pretty interesting too. That this is the first time that we've done the rewatch of the original and went, man, the original didn't have anything going for it.
Actually,
Because
yeah.
almost always there's some kind of charm to it, and it's like, oh well, they're
It's also
trying
not
something.
like horrible. It's also just kind of
It's there.
Mid.
I prefer it to the remake,
Yes.
if that counts for anything.
I would too.
Yeah.
And
Tell
not-
us what you
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
Which one of the 15 is your favorite?
Which one of the 50 indies are your favorite?
Oh God.
I like the Death Toilet.
Don't seek
Man.
those out. Don't encourage them.
Well, if you guys are real good, that'll be it for us from the podcast downstairs. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Yeah, jingle, jingle, jingle. You can catch up on previous episodes on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Jingle, jingle, jingle. You can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow. Tell us all of your awful thoughts. You know, whatever you're thinking. We'd love to hear them. We'd like to thank our producer and tech wizard, Don, as well as Not Great Entertainment for all the help setting up the pod. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, stay out of the basement. This time it's applicable.
want you to stop saying odd shit.
Party's over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
I am your mother. Everyone you love around is dying.
This is a way of life.
Is it dead? Prime time, bitch.
I worship Saturn. Satan is good. Satan is our pal.
I can't believe I just